Okay, today we are talking about comic book artist Bill Sienkiewicz and more specifically his run on the New Mutants, which pretty much made him a household name overnight. Not really, but we'll get more into that in a little bit. And so today we're going to look at the beautiful hardcover edition of the New Mutants collected. I think this was the first full and only full collection specifically of Bill's art on the New Mutants. This was published by IDW in conjunction with Marvel in the year 2016. And this is a gorgeous edition, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at it today. As you can see, it's super thick, and the cover's nice and stark white. The embossing and the shiny red letters are very make this pop very much. I love the New Mutants logo. It's very iconic. And Bill Sienkiewicz, a lot of people don't know how to pronounce that. As a longtime fan, it took me a while to figure it out. But as a fellow Polak, I should know better. So it's Sienkiewicz. And I guess a good way to remember it is Sienkiewicz. All right, without further ado, nothing special about the end papers here, just red. And then we come to a beautiful opening shot of Warlock from the New Mutants, who I believe Bill Sienkiewicz co-created with author Chris Claremont. And we'll talk more about him and their collaboration as we go through the book. This is signed by Bill Sienkiewicz, limited edition, 611 out of 999 copies. That sounds like a weird number for a print run. I don't know why they didn't do the full 1,000, but maybe that's something worth Googling or researching. Here's an opening page, a picture of Rain Sinclair, one of the founding members of the New Mutants. She's a wolfsbane shapeshifter. These were all brought to light in the recent New Mutants movie by Marvel, and one of the last Fox X-Men movies that took forever to come out. Here's a nice shot, very enlarged, showcasing Sienkiewicz's beautiful pen and ink work of Danny Moonstar, also known as Mirage. She's a focus of the Demon Bear saga, a big point of the... Full disclosure, I have not seen New Mutants yet, but I'm pretty excited to see it. All right, so... And then we have an interview between Chris Ryall, who is a former editor of IDW, who most likely put this book together. They're very artist forward at IDW and have done some beautiful books with other artists such as John Byrne and Bernie Wrightson and Mike Mignola, just to name a few, some real artists. Anyway, so here's an interview with him. I'm not going to get into the interview. That's something you can read on your own if you ever come by it. This is another end piece opening exposure, enlargement of Magma, Amaria Aguila from the, forgive the pronunciation, I'm from Ohio. Anyway, here's where it all happened. Bill Sienkiewicz and Chris Claremont kicked off their collaborative run together on New Mutants with issue 18, and this is one of Bill Sienkiewicz was really pushing to bring painted artwork to comic books. I guess he was only paid as a colorist because they had no rate at the time for painted art, so he's definitely a trailblazer in that department. And I mean, look at this compared to like, especially in the 80s, the like Marvel House style or whatever. This is definitely a departure from that. And Bill Sienkiewicz started out on Moon Knight, actually Fantastic Four, where self-admittedly he was a Neil Adams clone, as a lot of artists, including John Byrne, admit to coming into the comic book profession as they did in the 70s. So Neil like really blew the lid off of comic books, and a lot of up and coming artists really wanted to emulate that. I mean, look at this page, but Bill definitely expanded beyond that, found his own style mostly through Moon Knight, and really just cut loose on New Mutants. I mean, look at the way the beer's integrated with the blanket in this, and the look of horror on the character's face. I mean, this is amazing. So then, I mean, you know, not to keep things dull, then we blow up the White House here, and then we have young Madeline Pryor running through. Or I'm sorry, it's not the White House, it's the X-Mansion, but, you know, in the X-Men world, that definitely is the White House for sure, or it always seemed like it to me. So she is running through, and there's Xavier in his wheelchair. He gets up to scream out the window. They're under attack, and just the beauty. I'm not going to talk too much about the story, but look at the. This is such a joy to see this printed this way, because when the books first came out, they were in newsprint, which, had its merits at the time, but I'm sure a lot of artists, especially of that day, will tell you that a lot of the lines did not pick up, and, details were lost, and, blacks were muddied. So it's such a joy to see in this enlarged and crisp white format. You definitely showcases the art and all the skill and technical little nuances that Bill put into this. So I feel like I'm dawdling, but look how gorgeous this is. I mean, here's the danger room where the New Mutants practice their mutant powers, and then we come to this gorgeous shot of Ilyana Rasputin, Peter Rasputin's younger sister, who would become called, or she's called Magic. We all know about her. This is, let's see, this is Warlock's father, Magus, on the planet, wherever they come from. Just so much mood in this work. And look at the tech. I mean, Cosmic Sienkiewicz. Does it get any better than that? Then we come back and we're brought back into reality, or maybe not reality, but earthiness. And there we have Mirage fighting the demon bear. This is her. Oh, this is still the danger room. So, I mean, this definitely turned the New Mutants from a superhero comic book into like a supernatural horror comic book overnight. The art was very traditional before this, and Bill Sienkiewicz just really blew me away. I mean, look at that shot of the demon bear right there. So we're gonna go through. She's having issues with the demon bear, and she's fighting it. Rain and Danny have a psychic connection, because Danny has a connection to all animals as part of her mutant powers. So she can sense that she's in danger. They go to look for her, and oh my god, she's been murdered by the demon bear. Oh, look at this gorgeous close-up. Once again, I love to see Sienkiewicz's art blown up. It just shows all the texture and just kinetic energy that he puts into its art. I mean, another gorgeous painted cover, another beautiful splash page. I mean, that looks so dynamic and so full of life. Let's give props to colorist Glynis Wine, who's a longtime X-Men artist, colorist, worked with a lot of great artists over the years, and definitely this was a good combination with her and Bill, especially at the time. This was before like computer coloring and all that kind of crazy stuff that we have now. The mood and the looks on the expressions and just the details in the characters' faces is just astonishing. The way he captures so much. I mean, that looks like one of the creepiest werewolves I've ever seen, and this is, one of the core members of the team. Look how great that expression is right there. I love that page. And here we go, Eliana. He always draws her small, but very, like, small in stature, but big in, power. That's what Sienkiewicz, part of the magic of his art is. Pardon me. There's a little cameo from the Starjammers. It's always so fun to see such traditional characters just drawn in such a, at the time, very, avant-garde kind of way, if you will. And here we go, just more of this, more horror, a cameo from Alfred Hitchcock. I love to see little Easter eggs like that in comic books. Let's see. Here we go. They're fighting the demon bear. This is the demon bear is ripping through Ilyana's costume, and to reveal some sort of armor underneath. That's the first time we've seen that. And that is that her soul sword manifesting itself? Yeah. I said I wasn't going to get into the story, but there I go. Anyway, so we're moving on with this beautiful art, and let's skip through a little bit. Oh, that's such a great page right there. I would just love to see that, full up and original art. He just brings such, I mean, in a way it's simple, but, the layout is amazing. His use of negative space, and then we've got the zipatone at the bottom to contrast the black at the top, and the way he draws the sun. It's just amazing work. All right, so we're on to issue 20. He did a 12 issue run from 18 to 30, I believe, or 32. I guess we're going to find out. But that is just, I mean, I don't even know where he gets his inspiration. But this art is just so amazing. My brother was a fan of his Moon Knight work, and we both collected New Mutants. So when he came onto New Mutants, we were just blown away by this. We've never seen anything art like this before, and I'm sure a lot of people felt the same way. That the internet wasn't as prominent as these days, so you can't get on and complain about it immediately. But through fan pages and feedback at comic books and stuff, the art was very divisive. It's like, what are you doing to the New Mutants? And with many groundbreaking things like this, obviously it was this tone that inspired the movie. So that's pretty neat. A lot of different technical and, he was always willing to really experiment with his art and just throw the blacks down on the page and just really go for it, spattering inks. Always great to see Mohawk Storm, so that gives you kind of a indication of what era this is from. It was published in the 80s, obviously. Let's see, the New Mutants double-sized issue, another gorgeous painted picture. This is where I believe they have like a slumber party. Oh yeah, they're at a slumber party. A lot of the people in here are based on real people. I forgot who they are right now. That might be Louise Jones, aka Louise Simonson, longtime X-Men editor and wife of legendary X Factor Thor artist Walter Simonson, who IDW did some great collections and books with on his art as well. I'd love to get the Thor one, but it's very expensive. Okay, so just some great moody artwork here. This book, if you could get your hands on it, I definitely recommend it. This looks like real reflection water there. Just his ability with pen, ink, brush. This is before digital inking, and everything's right there on the page. Lots of blacks here. A lot of it's simple, the backgrounds and just sometimes the perspective is wonky, but it's his wonky. He makes it all work, and there's just so much to look at. It's like a visual feast for the eyes. It's such beautiful artwork. A lot of the current comic work, I think, is either very super realistic and detailed or cartoony or very no black lines, just very graphic looking, I guess. And this just is like some deep roots, hardcore throwdown pen and ink. I love the details on the faces are amazing, and this is some great classic comic book artwork. Let's move ahead to the next. Some great welcome to the X-Men Warlock. Look at that great handshake between Warlock and Professor X. A couple of pinups here, Cannonball. Just look at that, going through this helicopter and the force that he just, once again, the energy that he just brings, makes it pop off the page. Magic fighting a demon from another dimension, just amazing artwork. Sunspot, Roberto da Costa, the mutant who absorbs sun and gives him super strength. Dazzler, of course. Bill actually did a series of Dazzler covers, mostly painted, which are just gorgeous. Here we go. It's, I think that Chris Claremont is definitely one of those writers who just was able to collaborate with artists so well that I don't know if he catered to them or he brought, or the artist brought this out in him, but whatever happened behind the scenes with Chris Claremont and the throngs of amazing artists that he's worked with over the years, this is definitely a home run. The previous work we looked at was so dark and so sketchy and so just blacks laid down. Here we come to another gorgeous painting, obviously Disney influence. And I just remember this coming out and being so in love with just how cute and, I don't know, just realistic this was. And here we come to the story with Nightcrawler obviously getting ready to get on a trapeze. Just, you don't even see like his full body and you know instantly that that's Nightcrawler. He captures the look and the essence of the character with his movements, and you totally just get what he's about, doing this. And he teleports with his famous BAMF. And this is like just great comic book art. I just love the way he draws this net here. And there's Rain, Wolfsbane, giving him confidence and blowing him a kiss because she's always had a crush on him. I love that storyline because she's very puritanical. And I guess they're in the danger room and she's turned into a clown. Love the art. Let's see. Moves forward. So here's an appearance by the Hellfire Club, the introduction of the Black Queen Celine. I always love that color hold there with the art. He did a lot of technical things, and here we come into the fairy tale aspect that just you would think wouldn't fit so well, but it definitely just is a smooth transition. Here we come across, I believe this is Cloak and Dagger and some sort of fantastical image. And I mean, look at that taxi. I know that the cabs in New York are scary, but look at that. Here we go, another pinup of Wolfsbane. He just really captures her innocent girlishness with, the ferocity of her wolf form. And I love this picture of Danielle Moonstar. Mirage, she was one of the founding members of the New Mutants and just a very strong, I think oftentimes team leader. There's Magma with her lava powers, and another great cover painting of Cloak and Dagger. There's Celine, very S&M leather from the Hellfire Club. Brilliant, beautiful splash page. Hellfire Club, you could tell he was having fun with that, and with all the goblets and the shadows and the costumes and things like that. They just really ran with it on this run. And this, the advertisement for the book before Bill started the book is this, don't call them ex-babies anymore, because I guess they had a sort of a little beefcake for everybody. Sam and Peter laying out, I guess, there's Magneto, I don't know, is that a potato thing? Let's see, just some more gorgeous effects. Danny using her psychic powers, and she's looking, like I said, she had a connection to Rain, so she's looking for Rain, but look how gorgeous Rain looks. That isn't the fuzzy, short-haired little girl we know. And this is just a cool way to show psychic powers, coming to life on a comic book page, because, and there she is in her real form, and just the emotion just jumps off the page again. It's funny, I don't know if these colors are super bright to some people. They are pretty bright, but I don't know, they work for me. So anyway, I love the way that Bill just distorts anatomy for emotion, and just, just his style, I guess. And he just really brought something new. I think he's definitely one of the artists who influenced, artists that would follow him. Probably like painters like Dave McKean, and, he really brought painted art to the medium, especially with him his and Frank Miller's miniseries Elektra Assassin, and I think that definitely, it was such a huge success that I think that definitely paved the way for painted comic books back in the 80s. And, I don't think there's a ton of painted comic books around, and, you can see why, because the art really is beautiful that you can do digitally these days. So I don't know that people, aside from, the master Alex Ross, he still paints everything on the page. And, but, no, there's not a lot of Alex Rosses out there. If there are a bunch of painted artists that I'm forgetting about, just let me know. I could be wrong, because I've been wrong before. Another gorgeous splash page by Bill. He just draws even the mundane things just like so cool, like all these, I guess palm trees or mini palm trees or whatever they are. I'm not a botanist. I like how the curtains are black. It just makes everything pop to the forward. Just such a great artist. He was such a maybe I never copied his style, but definitely has always been an influence on me and my art over the years. I've always loved his style. This is such a great, thick book. Definitely, if you've never read the Claremont Sienkiewicz run, I mean, what a way to be introduced to it here. All this beautiful art. Great brick wall look here. This is Professor X on the astral plane inside his or someone else's mind. This is the introduction of his son Legion. They did a show of that I watched the first season and really liked it. So as a lot of shows, you fall off. But hey, I don't know what happened with that. I think he would definitely be great for a movie if they ever do a sequel to the New Mutants. But who am I to say? I don't think it did so well, but I don't think it was its fault, considering there was a pandemic and everything. Here we go. More Legion, Xavier's son. His split personality. I don't know, just, the great use of blacks here once again, and it's worked into the title. It just has great cinematic effect, I guess, even though obviously this is so not photographic art or realistic. There's definitely a cinematic quality to it. Everything's large in scope and mood and, the lighting. So I think those are definitely things that, people look for. I mean, look at this gorgeous double-page spread. The shoes, I think this is a duo shade paper, which is something they used to use in the 80s. Believe it or not, the paper does not exist anymore. But so you treat the paper with a chemical and it reveals this sort of tone on the back, which was supposedly like really difficult to work with and get it, right. John Byrne used it to good effect on stories like OMAC and stuff. And I think Sienkiewicz used it, I don't know, here and there. Probably up until he started painting, I guess. He's one of those artists who I've read in interviews or heard him say over the years that, especially with his painting, there's nothing he won't use, slapping like circuitry on the board and all that stuff. So makes you kind of wonder how the original art holds up over the years. But kind of like a macaroni painting is what what I imagine. But anyway, just some great art here. Apparently, Bill had come off of his run, as legend has it, on Moon Knight, and he was walking the halls of Marvel, and Chris Claremont not sabotaged him, but surprised him and cornered him. Yeah, we'll go with that. And asked him if he wanted to do the X-Men, which Sienkiewicz, I mean, hello, that's the Holy Grail. It was at the height of its popularity at the time. And who would he be following? I think maybe Dave Cockrum, one of the founding fathers of the new X-Men, as they're called. And Bill did not want the responsibility of trying to sell the company's, number one selling book at the time. So he declined it, amazingly enough. And then Claremont came to him, back at him with, well, I've got this, how about this 3-issue story called Demon Bear with the New Mutants? And, it's kind of like a horror story, blah, blah, blah. And so luckily Sienkiewicz fell for it, and 3 issues turned into, how many issues did I say there was? I think there's 13 issues, 13 or 14. So this is when Karma, one of the other founding members of the New Mutants, Jean Quaimon, I think she's Vietnamese. Her character's name is Karma. She can possess the psyches of people and just sort of animate them and control them for a limited amount of time. She and this is like turning her into his version of the Kingpin that we would see in Daredevil Love and War, which they wound up using, if you remember, the really super fat Kingpin in this Into the Spider-Verse, that was based on Sienkiewicz's portrayal of Kingpin, and obviously you can see an influence here in that, and it's just, it's amazing. And look at this like gladiator fight here in the big pit. Where else in comics is this? There's Karma eating a chicken leg, no less, and I don't know, this is probably all kinds of wrong PC wise. There's Dazzler, Allison Blair, disco mutant that we all love. Just lots of action and mood, and just maybe the story wasn't as powerful, as good as the introduction of the Demon Bear, but there's a lot of fun stuff going on here, and the art is just kind of crazy. Very cartoonish in some ways. I love this, what do you call it? This pinup of Empath from the Hellions, which is like the evil New Mutants counterpart. And this is actually the last page from Bill's run. And, maybe it was issue 32 that he ended with. But it says, thanks, best, Bill Sienkiewicz. So it was definitely a groundbreaking run. We were lucky to have him longer than he anticipated staying on for, if at all. And I can't imagine how different. I think it would have been just as successful if he went to the X-Men, but I guess we'll never know. Cat's Eye, I'm sorry, another member of the Hellions. The cover for the New Mutants Annual 1, which Sienkiewicz did not illustrate. It was illustrated by New Mutants co-creator Bob McLeod, who is an amazing artist in his own right, but definitely more on the traditional side. This is Cannonball. This was a great annual. It introduced Lila Cheney, who was like a rock and roll star who traveled the universe, and she was a teleporter, and it just really brought a fun story for Sam, into the spotlight. Here's the cover which was also the cover of the dust jacket for this collection, for X-Men Unlimited. Oh, here we have the X-Men Unlimited story. I forget what year this came out, April 2003. But this was a big deal because it reunited Claremont and Sienkiewicz with the original New Mutants, and they hadn't, been together for a long time. You can see the art's definitely different than it was on his initial run, but it's definitely got all the earmarks of his work with the, the great faces and the moodiness. And this looks like, I wonder if Bill colored this. It kind of looks like, he usually colors this stuff, but it kind of looks like Jose Villarrubia, but it might not be. I know they worked together a few times. It really looks like Jose's coloring. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, so that's a reprint of their collaboration of that, and that ends the book. And one last thing, there was like bonus, like these are really cool. It's like acetate prints. They're the Demon Bear, the splash page for New Mutants 18. I don't know exactly how this is supposed to work, but maybe someone can leave in the comments. Oh, I think it's like a plate, a printing plate. So that's really freaking cool, like a color guide or something like that, for the limited edition. Oop! So, you know, this is definitely going to be worth a lot someday. So I guess if I ever need to pay my rent, I have this here. And that brings to a conclusion our look at Bill Sienkiewicz and his amazing run on the New Mutants. And I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe and follow. And I'm definitely going to be looking at more artists soon. So thank you for joining me today.